right. I appreciate you guys letting me come out. I mean, I can't believe it's year 2 of this. We do this for a lot of organizations, so it's fun. We do have a lot to go over. If you've been in my organization before, you know I've got a lot of rules. I'm only going to hit you guys with 3 of them, okay, to kind of govern and frame this whole thing. Number 1, as Dunk said, ask questions. All right, anytime through this whole thing, ask a question, no issues at all. Okay, we can stop and really go over something. Learn something new. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. All right, so just try to learn something new. And then 3, please don't be the naysayer. Don't be the one that comes here to look for what I don't know in basketball. All right, there's going to be some things I'm going to go over. There's going to be a bunch that I don't. All right, we only got 3 hours, so we're going to try to build this up quickly. All right, but if there's anything else you want to know, just ask. I'm going to remove the big elephant from the room first and kind of clear Dunk from the chopping boards and why you would hire a trainer to do a coaching clinic, because that does seem a little bit odd. But there's a lot of misconceptions about my organization and kind of what we do, and I know a lot of people hear things, but you don't really know. For one, you know, I've got seniors in the program that have been here since my first camp in 5th grade. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't know any parent that's gonna pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for 5 and 6 years if we're just teaching left-hand dribble, all right? So there has to be a progression, all right, and a reason why these players are coming back to us. And what we have to understand in my organization is how we can build this perfect basketball player, and they should be able to plug into any offense, right? So really, I'm building players for you. I'm building players for high school coaches. So in order to do that, I got to have a real good understanding about what high school coaches want, what their offenses might look like, and then how can we build a player that can fit into that, that understands those team concepts, right? Because basketball is a team sport after all, right? So we got to have a lot of IQ. At the ages you guys coach, I'm of the opinion that it's more about development, okay? And the main reason for that is because they haven't gone through puberty. And there's a bunch that's gonna change when puberty happens, all right? So what I mean by that is I do get a bunch of kids that were the tall kid when they were 6th graders. But then all of a sudden, sophomore year, they're 6 foot and their varsity coach says, hey, you got no chance to play here because you can't dribble, right? Or anywhere in between, okay? So really kind of harness that and understand that. Kind of as an overview, I'm gonna talk to you guys first and kind of have a little classroom section and just talk about coaching and make some suggestions to you. After that, we'll go over some skill stuff. Skill stuff will be kind of quick, okay? And yes, we have some of our players out here to demonstrate that. Then we'll go into kind of some breakdown concepts, offense, defense, transition, and then we're gonna kind of put it all together, get you guys some sideline out of bounds, baseline out of bounds, kind of go over flex, go over 3 out, 2 in, go out for a 5 out, and really kind of show you how it all plugs in to the whole bigger scheme of things, okay? The reason that we're gonna take that order is because I'm really big on the why, the when, the how. For you just to put in a flex offense and just say, hey, it's a cross screen, down screen, flex cut, that really doesn't help your player understand why or they're using the screen the way they're using it, which then is not gonna help them in the future. All right, so you really gotta understand how to teach a screen, how to teach move without the ball, how to teach that. Then you're gonna see how it plugs into your offense 10 out of 10, okay? So that's really the reason that we're gonna do the way we're doing. All right, so first things first, you're a coach, right? And you mean a whole lot. All right, and you have to take your job serious, but you still have to be in reality, okay? So what does that mean? It means you have to understand the situation. Coaches, you got them twice a week for 4 months with games on the weekend, all right? Taking it serious does not mean you put in 55 plays, 10 out of bounds plays, a zone press, and all these things. And while that's kind of funny, you'd be amazed at how many guys I run into, like, well, my kids run a 1-2-2 trap. I say, can they explain how to come off a screen? Do they know how to play man defense? Do they even understand what the 1-2-2 trap is? Silence, all right? So we gotta kind of understand this situation, all right, and really take a humble approach to learning basketball, okay? Taking it serious means that you have to understand that you are important, but you're kind of just a vessel, right? Me included, all right? We're just here to usher them to the next person, the next spot, all right? We're not the end all of it, okay? While 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th grade basketball is extremely important right now, I get it. I'm gonna ask you that question again when you're varsity players and you'll say, I could care less about 6th grade basketball. All right, so we have to kind of understand top down and work our way back to the ages that you're at, all right? The good example is that my dad actually, and I always like to tell this story, maybe 18 years ago or whatever it was actually you for this organization. So I'm actually a Wheatland kid, all right? It was before there was the Wizards, it was just the rec league or whatnot. That was the thing you did in Naperville, Aurora, and my dad was a coach. But I know our third grade coach was Timothy Loads. Our fourth grade coach was Bruce Janowski. I remember these guys, all right? So please understand that you are important. So when they're old and they're grown and they talk about it, they're still going to talk about you. All right, so the type of impact you have on them, it's going to be a big one, okay? Create goals for your teams and your players, all right? Team goals could end up being we're going to win 20 games. Team goals could be we're setting 5 screens. Create some team goals, all right? Then create individual goals for your players, all right? You're going to get a left-hand layup this time. You're going to be able to dribble by the end of the season. You're going to not be scared to do something by the end of the season. Set individual goals for your players. Then after that, coaches, communicate them to parents. You guys are parents, most of you, I'm believing, and you need to understand. We don't have crazy parents in my organization because we have a lot of parent meetings and we clear the air up front. All right, a lot of issues that I see in travel organizations is you don't have enough interaction with parents. You don't talk to them about what's about to happen. All right, and that will ease your life up tremendously, coaches, because you're not going to toe into being a coach and not take all the stuff that comes with being a coach on the negative. You don't get to take all the wins and not all the tough conversations and, oh, Miss Johnson's crazy, Mr. Smith's nuts. Well, you can clear some of that up front if you just kind of have a conversation with them, okay? And in those conversations, introduce yourself. If you don't know anything about basketball, just say it. All right, if you played high school ball, say it. At least we can start setting expectations, okay? Share your plan for your team and stick to it, because that way then they can hold you accountable. Set expectations for parents and hold them accountable, all right? Stop letting them show up to practice and then still thinking they're going to start in the game. If it pisses you off and you don't want that on your team, tell them up front, hey, my practice starts at 5, you got to show up on 5. If your kid's late, they're going to have to sit a quarter. All right, we got to start setting these parameters because it's all about them. It's not about you, not about me, it's not about the parent, it's about them. If they show up late to high school practice, they ain't playing. So we have to set that tone early, all right? But set some expectations. Set some expectations for the players so that way you and the parent can hold them accountable, because you're not going to get anything done unless they go home and do it on their own. Whatever it is, you're not going to get it done unless they put some time in on their own, okay? But please understand, you're going to have some tough conversations, and you can't avoid those. And I know we all have jobs outside of this, but hey, if you stepped up as a coach, you're going to have to talk to mom and dad and explain some things because they're crazy. All right, and that's just the easiest way to put it. You're a parent, you're crazy, I get it, all right? But you're gonna have to understand how to tone down the crazy, okay? So now that we're taking it serious, hey, have a practice plan. It takes 30, 45 minutes, all right? What you do for 40, 50, 60 hours a day, you could do in your sleep, all right? If you don't do basketball 40, 50, 60 hours a week, you probably need to put a little bit of time in it and just have a plan, all right? Takes 30, 45 minutes. At M14, for example, all these guys, and by the way, that's Andrew Gallo, he's one of our court leaders, Bobby, Nick, any of those guys that are full-time, okay? They have to have curriculum meetings with me every day. If they're lucky, they're 60 minutes, if you're lucky, right? They might take 90 to 2 hours, and what we go over is every single class, what your drills are, what you're doing, and every single player, every single day, all right? Because we take it serious, okay? So have a practice plan. At practice, I think you guys should have a model, and it should be, I'm not going to let you be bad. All right, everything I'm saying should be wrapped around that model, not an organization, but you on your team. I'm not going to let you be bad. All right, so your practice environment has to reflect that. And what I mean by that is they know I'm not going to let them be bad. Okay, so walking into the gym, start on time. All right, I'm at all these facilities. I get to see what goes on in other courts, okay? 2 kids showed up at 5 o'clock, 5:15, then you start starting. Start at 5 o'clock. They didn't show up, that's their fault. All right, nobody's going to wait for everybody to get there to start. If your practice starts at 4, start at 4. Set that tone, okay? No shooting threes and jacking up shots before practice, all right, because it's all about your practice atmosphere, and you're not going to let them be bad, all right? So, hey, give them a routine. I want everybody, when you walk in the gym, to do 10 push-ups, 25 jumping jacks, and hey, I bought $10 ropes at the dollar store. I want to get 100 ropes in. All right, do those type of things, and that starts to get them mentally prepared to practice. Water breaks, quick, all right, and then shoot free throws. If you ever come to my practices or my training sessions after water, we always yell free throws, okay? Because my thinking is if I can get them 2 or 3 free throws up every water break, I got 3 water breaks, maybe I got them up 10. 10 every session, times how many sessions, times how many months. I ended up getting them a couple hundred free throws up and not having to take time to do that. All right, you don't have a lot of time, so you have to use your time very, 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 very efficiently, okay? Get a little bit accomplished every day, but transition from one drill to the next quickly. All right, sometimes there's this lag time that just takes too long from going from a layup to the next drill to the next drill. You're taking too long. Just transition from one drill to the next, all right? But you got to have a plan to do that, okay? Again, you got 90 minutes. We don't have a lot of time for some dead time, all right? So if you have a plan, we can stick to the plan. You're always going to adjust your plan, no doubt. But have a plan that you're going into it so you kind of understand what's going on, all right? Do more than talking, okay? I don't ever like to argue or state anything based off of emotion. Okay, that's why I don't get into the, oh, we're better trainers than you're better, because it's all opinion, right? Somebody likes them, somebody likes me, whatever, I could care less, all right? But it is fact, science. Humans learn better by doing. You might also be an audio learner, you might also be a visual learner, but we're all kinesthetic learners, okay? If you don't believe me, how'd you teach a kid to walk? Did you explain it to them? Did you put on a video? Or did they just kind of walk and fail and then they did it? Well, how'd you learn how to ride a bike? Did you listen to an informational video on riding bikes, or did you just push the pedal? We learn better by doing, okay? So coach them through what you're doing, and no doubt when you introduce a drill for the first time, you gotta take some time to explain it, okay? And you need to explain it thoroughly. But after that, they should start knowing what the box out drill is, and they should pop into it quick, and then you're just holding them accountable to the things that you already explained. All right, so the first time, hey, we take some time to explain it, but that's a very American kind of ideology, right? In a brief background, I did play professionally in Europe, and I just got back from a Europe trip in February where I went to Rome, for Paris and London, and got to sit down with coaches and got to watch organizations and everything. And I remember when I was a player in England, we did do some coaching, and they were like, you talk too much, you talk too much, you talk too much. Yes, I do talk too much, by the way. But they're like, they got to do. And I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to explain anything to just do? But that's what they do. It's just more doing than it is talking, which it works. Like you can kink out a lot of stuff if you just let them do it and explain to them as they do it. So coach through the drill. I'm not saying just make it messy and just go. Tell them what they're doing as they're doing it rather than just stop every single time. Let them clean it up as they go. They're gonna make mistakes. It's not gonna be perfect. That's fine. Clean it up as they go, okay? When it comes to holding them accountable, all right, you have to win them over first, coaches. All right, and what ends up happening a lot of times when people step up to be a coach, they start just doing this X's and O's and they get to prance around or, hey, I'm the coach. You don't get to just decide what you want to do as a coach. You have to be a motivator. You're a coach, you're a teacher. All right, then you have to do the X's and O's as well. Okay, but if your kids don't want to play for you, they don't love playing with you, they don't believe in you, they're not going to do anything for you, all right? You could come to a session, every one of them I have torn to the ground, but they understand that I believe in them. Okay, and they will run through a wall for me. You have to get your players to run through a wall. They have to believe it. You have to connect with them. All right, that's a real big thing that you end up having to do. Then you can hold them accountable. You can kick, scream, yell, you do whatever you want, but bring it back positive. All right, because again, you only got them for 4 months. So if they don't have some fun, they're gonna stop playing basketball. All right, and that's the thing that kind of amazes me, that we're so militant and we're so hard, but I'm the one saying, hey, you know, they still gotta have some fun. Like they should still have some fun. Okay, now, they have my definition of fun, all right, no doubt about that, okay, and it's hard and all that, but we have built them up to that, okay? We didn't just come in the door kicking them in the face. That's not how it went, okay? I gained their trust, and that's what I'm saying. I'm an adult, but I had to humble myself to these kids when they were 3rd graders and 4th graders to win them over. Then after that, I can start taking them where I need them to go. They stop listening to how I'm saying it, then they're gonna listen to what I'm saying. Okay, but you have to hold them accountable. You have to understand the difference between trying and doing. All right, we don't try to get kids better, we do. All right, if any one of my trainers comes up and say, hey, did they get the cones? Well, I tried, they didn't. I'm not listening to we tried. Either we did or we didn't. All right, and again, it's because I'm not gonna let you be bad that you have to listen to everything I'm saying and do it exactly how I'm saying it. All right, and that kind of level of accountability doesn't seem to permeate all the time, or if it does, it's too much. All right, you gotta find that balance, but if you kind of center it all around, hey, I'm just not gonna let this kid be bad. All right, bad players don't start in triple threat. Bad players don't go fast. Bad players don't change speed. Bad players don't focus. So then when you're holding them accountable, that's a different way you're explaining it to a player. You're not explaining it to them as, oh, you suck, or oh, you should have did that. No, wait, listen, man. You told me you wanted to be good, right? All right, well, do good players do that? No, well, then you need to do it a different way. That makes sense to them. You have to understand who you're coaching. The 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds, they have no clue about anything. All right, so if you don't explain it properly, you'll throw them off. All right, so that's extremely, extremely important, okay? You will come to our sessions and you will hear us be very loud, and that's what everybody says about M14. All those guys are just loud. You'll come to the Wheatland sessions and you will hear us be very loud, and oh, they're loud. Listen to what we're saying. For one, our pace is very intense at our practices, right? I want to talk so loud that they can't talk to themselves. Because if we've ever worked out and it starts to get hard, the first thing you say is, stop. Man, this is tough. Man, I can't go. I want to distract that in their minds, all right? And then the things that we're saying are actually very positive if you actually listen. It just looks like we're pissed off. We're really not. We're actually saying, good job. Hey, go harder. You could do more, all right? But I want to distract what they're saying, because you have to understand, if you're building your team, you're building players, you have to build a mentality. You can't distract the two, okay? Your team is tough, hard-nosed. Detroit Pistons of the 80s, you know, hard-nosed in your face, right? But you have to build that mentality in your players, in your teams. All right, you do that by holding them accountable and kind of how you communicate with them, okay? A basic kind of practice plan on my suggestion, if you got 90 minutes, you go 30, 30, 30, but pretty much it's 28, 28, 28. All right, because that leaves you 2 minutes for water breaks for them to come back. All right, there's nothing that's not decided on how you do it, okay? You go to college coaching practices, every second, all right, is documented. It's not this, okay, we're gonna do this for this or this for this. It is, so with our practice plans, it's 28s, and then that goes to 14s. So if you have an offensive section, I'd say 14 is drills, 14 compete. Competing, they love to do it. It gets them back fresh again, and also you get to see that they get to translate the stuff that you were working on. That could be individual skills, that could be, you know, attacking the rim, that could just be layups at the younger ages, whatever it is, and then have a layup contest. All right, competing doesn't have to be combat. It can just be us competing against the clock. All right, but I'd go 14 drill, 14 compete. You got 2 minutes water, get some free throws in, we're right back at it. Now we're going defense, and yes, you need to address defense, all right? Do these kids a favor and teach them man-to-man even while you teach them zone, all right? That's not for you, that's for them, because I'm telling you, I talk to varsity coaches, all right? That's part of what we have to do. Girls and women, women and men's coaches we talk to. Hell, he's a sophomore coach right there, all right? We talk to them. At our summer league, these varsity coaches come out. We talk to them. Hey, what do you want them to have by the time they get there? Do these kids a favor, and while you're teaching 2-3 and 3-2 and 1-2-2, teach them some man-to-man as well. All right, I'm not saying that you have to do it in games. That's up to you as your team. But do them a favor by the time they get to high school, and at least let them know what man-to-man basketball on defense looks like, all right? But again, you'll go 14 drill, 14 compete, okay? The last 28, I would do translation, all right, which ends up being dummy in your offense, putting in the zone press, going against it, trying to put it all together, okay? Every week your practice plan is going to change because it should break down something you struggled with in the games, all right? Kind of the issue is we like to start at 10 and we just skip over a lot of steps, all right? If you're going to a game, they're going to show you what they struggle with, all right? So stop doing what you want to do and then just do what they need. Clean that up first, then move on to the next thing, right? But you have to start figuring out how to clean it up quick, right? I don't let our guys take forever to clean something up. Hold them accountable, tell them what you mean what you say, get it done, right? And it's very simple, okay? If you can hold your kids accountable. The way that you have to think about this, coaches, is games are tests, all right? If you think about it in an academic sense, you don't take the AC test to get better. You might get better at taking the ACT test, but you didn't get smarter. You got smarter when you went to study at ACT prep, right? So when you take a game, it's just a regurgitation of knowledge. All right, I'm not saying that they're not going to get a little bit better playing games. Absolutely they will, but that's a very, very, very big misconception. That all games, that's really going to make them good. No, it's going to make them good at what they already can do, right? And I guarantee it's going to be driving with their strong hand, ducking and throwing the ball up. Look at their shooting percentages. Look at all this other stuff. The facts are facts. All right, we don't get to live in a mythical world of basketball like, oh, my kid did great. He scored 2 points. That's not great, right? Like we have to really start understanding what it is to really translate and be good at this sport. All right, and you have to take a serious approach, and that's why I'm telling you, hey, if you're a coach, you can't toe that line like, we're just, look, every kid can get better, all right, and better is not best, right? Hey, they just got layups, they got this, fine. Just get them better, okay? But understand when you play games on the weekend, that's going to be your test. How good did you train them? How good was your practice during the week? If they fail, hey, you got to go back to the drawing board, put it back together again. All right, some things you'll find a win on, some things you'll find a loss on, whatever it's going to be. But it's just a regurgitation of knowledge. That's all every game is, all right? So you have to understand that, okay? So coaching, right? You got to motivate. You got to teach X's and O's. You're going to have a big impact. You got to win them over, hold them accountable, take your job serious, have a plan, and adjust to your group, okay? Because everything I'm saying, please don't take it as you need to be hard-nosed and you need to kick them in the face. I'm not saying that, okay? We've got pre-academy kids, and we've got every one all the way up through, right? So we'll go pre, green, blue, gray. All right, our blue and our gray classes pretty much run the same. Okay, so we're a little bit harder on them. Our pre-academy kids, we're definitely not. We still hold them accountable, but we're not just hard. We're not here to turn you off of basketball. All right, so really think about that and adjust to the group that you got. Okay, so have a film session. If you're filming the games, have a film session, right? That's gonna help them out a lot too. I mean, to just wheel a TV out or just put it on a USB, bring your computer, and just have a little breakdown of watching some film. All right, what I'm telling you guys is this is what, and I could list the organizations, some of these organizations do. Okay, I know I got a kid at NIU that just got done with an IMG that was at Naperville Central, and when his dad was in these grade levels, he was having film sessions with the kids. All right, and that also kept the kids together because you won them over because they believed in you, because you're taking some time out your day to really help them get better and invest your time into them. All right, so just kind of think about those type of things. All right, the way that this is going to go, so we're going to get through individual session, and we'll get through part of our team skill session. We'll get a little break, then we'll come back into those things, all right? But please understand, I know you came here for a bunch of X's and O's and all these things, but you gotta really understand the stuff that I just said, because nothing's gonna matter until then. You could put in as many flexes and all that stuff you wanna put in. If these kids don't wanna play for you and they don't like you, you're never gonna get the best out of them, which is gonna end up hurting them. All right, we'll be fine. We're adults, we got jobs. They're the ones that are gonna suffer for it, all right? So you really gotta have a selfless mentality and really do what's best for your kids. But you have to communicate that to the parents so they understand as well, and then understand that some parents are gonna say, you're stupid, that's dumb, I don't think that, they need to win, I'm leaving. It's not a great fit for everybody. We have to say it every day in our organization, hey, this might not be the place for you then, because this is how we do it here. All right, so you have to do that and you have to be really affirmed in that, okay? When it comes to building a basketball player, coaches, all right, it comes down to 5 things. All right, and I'm gonna show you how building this player ends up fitting into building your team, okay? 1 is genetics, 2 is skill, 3 is IQ, next thing is mentality, and the last thing is translation. Those are things that are gonna count on building a basketball player. All right, genetics you don't really control too much, okay, because obviously that's quicker, bigger, stronger, faster. All right, skill, you definitely can help out with that, though maybe you can't do too much, but obviously, hey, we're helping you guys out and we're coming in doing some skill portion, right? So we're kind of lessening your load with that. IQ, your drill should kind of start to help with IQ, but a film session maybe would help out with that. Mentality, that's something we define as aggression plus confidence. All right, wherever their mentalities are at, that's gonna kind of depict on how good they are and then how good they translate. And mentality and translation are hand in hand. All right, a kid can be as skilled as you want them to be, okay, and have the greatest IQ that you've ever seen. If they don't have a mentality, they're not gonna translate. We call them soft in basketball. Like, why won't you just do it? He's soft, that's why. Right, because it's in mentality. He's got all the skill in the world. You'll see that a lot on the high school level. So what I'm telling you is even though you're coaching your team, you still have to be able to look out for each individual player.